All right, second soundbite that stood out to me. Jerod Mayo on Drake Maye, and other quarterback who could still be a week 1 starter. Let's play it.
This goes to any position. If he comes out here and he lights it up, and once again, it goes back to the quality of reps, it could absolutely happen. Like, I sit here and tell you, like, coming out of the spring, Jacoby looks like the starting quarterback. Now, with that being said, he'll have competition. There's like, let's not forget about even Joe Milton. Let's not forget about Zappy. All those guys will have opportunities to go out there and be the starting quarterback in week 1.
I'm going to forget about Joe Milton, respectfully. But Bailey Zappi has a case, and he can make a case to be the backup quarterback. And he still is practice squad eligible, so he can still be on this roster. Let's not forget that. But again, this is a answer, Keegan, to me about open competition. And he said with Drake Maye, where everyone's going, what about Drake Maye? He goes, if he lights it up and gives us a huge sample size from this point forward to the start of week 1, which will have 3 preseason games included, and he talks about quality of reps, because he said it earlier in the presser, it's not about quantity of reps, it's about quality and how good they are. And that goes, he would say, goes back to guys in college and how people grow. I just love, again, it goes back to the quality of reps. And he says, coming out of spring, Jacoby is a starting quarterback, but he's again deferring to competition. And if Drake Maye, in a pure quarterback competition, Drake Maye against himself, Drake Maye against Jacoby Brissett, if he looks like the better QB and looks like the better professional quarterback, he's not ruling it off that Drake Maye could be the starter, Keegan.
Yeah, and my question that comes off of this is a little bit of, are they going to give him the opportunity to show that he's the best quarterback? Because in this offense, we're going to talk about it later with Alex Van Pelt and kind of the way he goes about doing things. Quarterback isn't really the star of the show, at least not on early downs, at least not in training camp practice. You know, when you're working on red area stuff and you're working on short 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s, 4th down plays, the star of the show is going to be Ramondre Stevenson. It's going to be that offensive line, no matter how shaky they look. The tight ends, the amount that they're going to put out on the field. So I think with a lot of the work that we're going to see early in camp, at least, it's not going to be really quarterback focused. It's just going to be about who can run the offense, and there's not a shadow of a doubt that the person who can run the offense best is Jacoby Brissett. He's done it before, not just in New England, but he's ran this offense in Cleveland with Alex Van Pelt. So I think eventually he'll get an opportunity to show what he can do. And talent-wise, I don't think anybody's arguing the fact that he's more talented than Jacoby Brissett. But what they need right now is they need a foundation. They need to build a foundation of a good football team, and you're going to do that with Jacoby Brissett early in the season. And that's why they're putting their eggs in his basket. I really don't see a problem with it. If we're getting to week 8, week 9, and there's no signs of Drake Maye, then you can start sounding the alarms. But for now, entering training camp, it's a smart way of doing business. You're protecting the rookie, which is what you want.
You're not getting too far ahead of yourself where people are going to start yelling and clamoring for Drake Maye, and you're letting everyone understand the expectations and the timeline of them.
Right.
And the great point you bring up about Jacoby Brissett, who has past experience in the system, where he loves Alex Van Pelt. He commented on him saying he's the same guy every day, which we hear all the time.
Right.
But he says that it's not just him, it's his assistants, that he wants this offense to execute just as bad, if not worse, than the players. And the advantage of having Jacoby Brissett and all this, it is a 3-year plan with Drake Maye. It is honestly a 10-year plan with Drake Maye. But in the reality is, within 3 years, this is the timeline on the team that can they be back to being an actual serious playoff team within the next 3 years. And Jacoby Brissett helping to teach Jalen Polk and Javon Baker this offense. Ramondre Stevenson, Caden Wallace, a rookie, and helping to teach Drake Maye the offense is what's crucial. So even if Jacoby Brissett isn't the starter in week 9, you still better be rooting for him because he's going to be another coach there. And he said it too. He's like, Alex Van Pelt can be over there talking to the offensive line. I'll be off to the side talking to the tight ends and receivers. And same thing with Drake Maye. So that's what's crucial. And he said it too. Looks like Jacoby's the starting quarterback right now. And this is also, when you hear this, the shift in culture that Jerod Mayo is going to have. And we've heard it from Bill Belichick. He goes, everyone has to earn their jobs. Everyone has to earn their position, their spot on the roster, every game, every practice, every day, right? Like that's what we would hear. But with Jerod Mayo in any position, he said it. It's all about the competition. That's what he wants to build. Are you reliable? Are you smart? Are you dependable? Do you execute well? Do you run the system? He's saying this about Jacoby Brissett right here. What he's saying is, Alex Van Pelt's coming in. Remember, first-year play caller on offense. This is the quarterback that's most reliable in his system. But Jerod Mayo's not writing off. And in a way, this gives confidence to Drake Maye to approach every practice like your hair's on fire of, if I do good today in this rep, in this practice, carry it over to week to week to week and progress, it could be my job week 1. And Drake Maye, the football guy he is, the competitor he is, how talented he is, I wouldn't be shocked if right now he's a better quarterback, but is he a better quarterback in this system than Jacoby Brissett? We have to see. And you know where I stand on all of it, Keegan? Can the offensive line protect him? That's my one thing with it all. And last one, I like this one too, that Jerod Mayo was asked on what a successful season would look like to him. Let's play it.
Yeah, a successful season, in my eyes, is really about the foundation. Like, have we put together a good foundation of a combination of young and older players to really start, competing? And honestly, it would be great to get up here and say, like, we're going to win a Super Bowl. But once again, it's about the process. And I tell the guys all the time, it's about process and progress and moving forward.
It's really about the foundation, Keegan. Again, this is a foundation year. Year one, Jerod Mayo. Year one, Elliott Wolf. Rookie quarterback. You just picked third overall. People are saying you're going to be a top 5, top 10 pick in the upcoming draft. The importance of this year is getting their guys, their draft class, their free agency signings in, teaching them the system, and figuring out guys from the past tenure on defense and offense who can stick around and who can play. But this was, again, with someone that's gotten ahead of themselves by saying we're going to burn a ton of cash and all that. We better get the bag in the draft. He's now going, hey, guys, like, being realistic, it's about foundational year. I'm year one as a head coach. Everyone else understands it's a flip of the switch to a whole new era of football. He knows the timeline he has. He's heard it from the Crafts and Robin Glazer, so he's telling the fans with this one.
You love Robin Glazer.
She runs a show with the Crafts.
It's another example of tempering expectations, right? He's not getting ahead of his skis like we just talked about. He wants everybody to know, listen, what you're going to see early is a lot of very simple. We talk a lot about during the Belichick era, complementary football, situational football. I think that's what they're going to try to drill into these guys, but within the systems that they're running now. This defense is not going to be the same. Just because it's got essentially the same coaching staff and a lot of the same players, they're going to change things up. DeMarcus Covington even talked about, I want to be more aggressive. I want to play offense on defense. I want to go attack the football. That's one thing that I think, we talk a lot about the offense, but that's not getting talked about nearly enough. A guy like Kyle Duggar, guys like that who we've seen them make plays in the system that Bill Belichick ran, which was a kind of sit back and keep everything in front of you. But that's another aspect to this. And then offensively, a lot of young guys. The offensive line on paper looks kind of messy, but they're looking for the right pieces, right? Jerod Mayo said earlier today as well, I want the best 5 offensive linemen out there. It doesn't matter what position you play, where we're going to put you. If I put the best 5 guys out there, it's going to give us the best chance to succeed. So whether that means sliding Mike Onwenu back into a guard spot, Chuck Okorafor at left tackle, Caden Wallace at right tackle, whatever it may be, I think he's being very intentional in everything that he says, where we are setting the foundation for future success, and that might not mean 2 wins this year. That could mean 5 or 6 wins, but it also isn't going to mean a Super Bowl. So keep everything in the middle. Let's move things along and set up for the future. It's just the constant message of fans need to understand. And it's also the patient play, too, of just remember on this. And he said, I'm going to bring up, because I did highlight his comments about Chuks Okorafor. Right. He said a successful season is a foundation. Then there's a follow-up. But, yeah, like what in particular? And he kept it broad. It looks like winning football. Smart, dependable, winning football team. That's what he wants.